I want to talk to you about my friend Charly Crawford. He's a 10-time NFR qualifier.
Charly Crawford, time to just shake it out and win. Got it on him fast, set
there
up.
We are.
Here's a day
nice
money
run.
lead. You betcha 3-8.
That's an absolute perfect run. Timing was perfect from the time the first swing is up. He's got the control. Charly made it happen by being timed up with his horse with the steer, and being able to not just rope, but to pick that steer's head up without changing the momentum for the heeler at all.
We know his beautiful wife, Jackie, all three of their beautiful children, the founder of the Liberty and Loyalty Foundation, which this year will exceed $1 million raised for military and first responders. I've said it 1,000 times. Charly, it's time to rope, nod and ride, whip and spur. I want to welcome you to the Charly Crawford Podcast. Let's ride.
Folks, if you're in Texas or Oklahoma and need a top-tier metal building, you need to call the guys at Cowboy Steel Construction. Founded by Trey Norris back in 2000, Cowboy Steel has grown into one of the premier metal building contractors in the region. Need an indoor arena or want to cover the one you've already got? These guys know how to get the job done right, strong, reliable, and built to last. Whether it's for ranch, business, or personal use, Cowboy Steel Construction has you covered, literally. Check out their work on social media at Cowboy Steel Construction on their Facebook and Instagram page, or call Trey Norris at 903-348-4611, and you can email them at cowboysteel2k@gmail.com. All right, guys, we got Joseph Harrison and Bubba Buckaloo on the podcast today. Joseph's going to be telling the stories. Bubba's going to do the officiating. That sound about right?
Yeah, probably.
Joseph, congrats, you $1 million bitch. Gosh, dang, man. Good work.
I appreciate it. It was a long time I've been after that, it feels like. So to finally get there, it felt pretty good.
Man, there was a lot of emotions over there at that futurity out there at the Old West. Just with the guys, winning it, what it's doing, everyone's seeing what the industry is doing. Man, it's cool to see what I think the Richards, what the Propes are doing, and the people that they're getting behind that is changing the industry for sure.
Oh, it's making a surfable wake, man. I mean, it's cool, yeah. What better time for it to happen to for a guy like myself when I get sick of rodeoing, and I love the young rope horse deal anyway. So it's just before AQHA, regular old AQHA style, yeah, there was some guys that made a living doing it, and they played the numbers game, had a lot of horses, and they had to work their dirty ass off. I mean, nonstop. And I'm not saying that we don't work now, but I think I've got 20 head total at my place. You know what I mean? And with that number of horses, I'm able to make a good living.
Yeah. Man, well deserved. It's cool to see that. So we'll touch on the Old West Futurity here in a little bit, but you guys are just coming in off your daddy win over there, win the first round. Bubba, one of the things I'd love to ask is that head horse. That head horse looks good everywhere. I follow you guys on social media. It's the only way I can kind of stay out there. But from when you guys go to UPRA to a circuit rodeo to being fast to every jackpot you guys go to, man, what is it about that horse that's so damn special?
Oh, I just think he scores so good, and he's got AAA racehorse speed. So honestly, Chuck, he does everything good. Like, he reads the cow good. He just does what a horse shouldn't be able to do, and it makes it easy. Like, for a long time, he wasn't good in the short stuff. We tried to ride him, and I finally just told myself to just stay down and ride him to the cow, and it's been fast enough everywhere we go.
Where he was hard, was it because he ran so hard on the short stuff?
Yeah, he wouldn't read the cow. Like, you can ask Joseph 2 years ago, like, he would run on the wrong side of him.
Well, it's just like that. Yesterday, that steer that we ran, there was a bunch of guys that ran a cow as good as we ran yesterday, but their horses running hard and not picking the cow up to where they would get even, and some of them passed the cow. And like yesterday, Buck comes screaming across there, and that black, he's laid down running and just picked the cow up, stayed in a good place, and let him handle the steer. Awesome.
Now, you did tell me, I seen you the other day over there at Pecos, Joey, and we were bullshitting around, and you was talking about you got to ride him the other day. Like, what it feel like?
I rode him back a long time ago, and he was good then, just green, but Buck made me run some on him. It seems like it was last fall or something, and I run 2 or 3. He's the difference maker. Like a guy like myself, I'm not a hitter, but I can win on that one. You know what I mean?
The way you were explaining it the other day, it sounded cool because like it sounded like he scored good enough where he was easy to bring your first swing up and get ahead of, but then he reads the cow or he lets off. The horns come to you, but it's not so hard that you got to pull him off of it. Like he feathers and almost idles like a Jake break on the way in where you can place your loop, and then that helps you set up your corner. And that's what it looks like.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about him. He does everything.
There's something about a horse that lets you just well to start and then get him before they get away.
Yeah.
Takes the steer's confidence away a lot of times, and that's what it looks like that horse does a good job of.
That's what we were talking about the other day. It feels like when you head a lot of steers, like I don't know if it's because you're gaining on them so fast. It feels like a lot of steers check off just because you're gaining. And I don't know if he just catches them so fast.
Just like I've had it. I'm good. I'm toast.
Yeah.
Steers just like you got me.
Yeah, exactly.
So you guys won at T-Wade 1 second in the round over there in that first round?
Yeah, he went just a hair too slow.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a pretty good job.
He took a lot of time to make sure he got that neck, it looked like. I watched the slow-mo. The slow-mo on Team Roping Journal is like, that wasn't even an effort for horns.
I don't feel like this is fair because he's not in the truck and he don't have a headphone. So, but we're going to go ahead and whoop him in the nuts anyway.
Yeah, he'll listen. He'll listen.
Yeah, he'll like it. He'll like it. So
the good thing is we wouldn't say nothing behind his back. We wouldn't say if he was sitting right here.
Oh, no, I wish he was sitting in the truck. It would be better for me.
Well, it's good the Team Roping Journal got you back caught up, though, on the win of the first round. Cause
yeah. I rode back down there and she had to video me with her phone because she missed it because she's editing. Wade finally caught one. So she's editing his run, trying to keep him getting a front leg in it or something. I don't know.
It was odd this year with Bubba, with Cheyenne. Slack was way different this time. Threw me off on how early they had the Team Roping slack.
Yeah, it kind of worked out good for us because we didn't really want to rodeo too much. We just kind of wanted to go to Cheyenne, and then we could come up here and go to Casper and Sheridan and catch Estes Park on our way home. It really worked good, better for us, I think. Because
you guys roped yesterday morning at Casper and then was able to ease down there to Cheyenne and rope, and sound like it's pretty good. Yeah. Pretty good scheduling, really, on both their parts.
We'll just stay fixated on Cheyenne. We made a good run there, and I had to talk about it. Casper, slack, all that.
Was there a putter throw?
No.
Okay.
No, I missed him.
Okay.
You got a leg.
I missed you with a putter throw.
I don't know what we're setting now, but if it falls apart, we could still make short round.
We've done it before. What were you guys roping over there, Cheyenne? Because they looked fresh.
Sweet, perfect Mexicans.
Yeah, they were nice.
Oh, man, they were so good. Whoever put that set together did a great job.
They looked fun.
Oh, man, they were so cool.
Size looked good.
They were small enough, but had enough head and horns. Like they were just had enough body, but they weren't big. They're just right.
Yeah, they look sweet. Watching it on social media. So let's go down like the guys, because we just finished the fourth, and go over our top money winners. Man, let's start off with those summertime. Clint Summers and Jade Corkill. They went 9 for 9.
That's awesome, ain't it?
That is
that's awesome.
That's just a no-hitter.
Yeah, that's awesome.
In that time of year, that's impressive, isn't it?
Man, Summers has got a really good head horse, and he ain't afraid to ride that sucker. I mean, he'll saddle him every time, which is that's why he's got him, so that's good. But he's got a really good head horse. Jade's already got to play down to where he knows where the cow's going every time, and it looks like he's sipping on iced tea in his rocking chair, waiting on the cow to turn. There he is. Bang, got him.
You know, Jade reminds me a little bit of the Champ, like when Champ sometimes would take some time off, then come back, and it doesn't look like anything changed. Just still rides the smooth corner, still able to read when he needs to get up there, then when he needs to block, just no matter what, reads it and is ahead of it 2 feet every time.
Dude's
look like over the fourth.
Ever do it.
Don't miss.
His reactions, especially look like every time you see him on, as soon as he got behind Summers, it just looked like the chemistry fit right off the bat.
Somebody yesterday, we were all talking about it, and he said that they were talking to him one year, it's been years back, and he messed one up maybe at Spanish Fork, And they said, man, that sucked, And he's like, yeah, I think that's the first one I messed up. I said, well, since when? It's like on the year. Like, I think that's the first one. And he was serious, and I'm not doubting him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the reps that guy's gotten to where what's the steer going to do that he hasn't seen, to where he's learned how to figure out how to catch it. It just looks like he's ahead of what that steer's trying to throw at him.
Confident.
Yeah. Number 2 was Andrew Ward and Jake Long. Same thing. I thought, Bubba, it looked like this year that head horses stood out, I thought, over the 4th a lot this year. Looked like there's some steers fresh. They were running. They were strong. Looks like a lot of the guys that had the good head horses that rode good did a lot of winning over the 4th, it looked like.
Oh, I think that's the case anytime. I think Andrew Ward, like, he's got those race horses that he heads on and looks easy for him. Just catch up so easy. And he's got some game too. I mean, 2 culls out there, and Jake just heals so fast.
Their run looks so solid together. Another team on paper that looks great. It looks like the rope goes on tight. That bay horse is already headed out to get in front of him. He's able to slow down just enough where Jake gets to swing over and lights out. Like a patented run.
It's almost like they got outside and give them enough room to work. You know what I mean? Like they struggled a little bit this winter, which was odd. I just expected them to right away just do great. And they struggled just a little bit as a team. And then as fast as they got out here with barriers a little longer, it was just like... turn the light switch on. That's perfect. I was glad to see it.
Yeah, it looked like Summertime and Jade got almost 30,000 won, and then Andrew and Jake was 26,000. Come off a win over there at Pecos as well. And like I say, just when they got outside, good head horses started really shining with Summertime and Andrew Ward. And man, like I say, that run looks so good. I was at Greeley Short Round, watched Jackie rope there, watched him rope at Oakley City, and both of them. And where a 5-second run is still winning good money. And both of them weld to start, tight head loop, both of them just tee off on the back end, both of them steers limp all the way back to the back end. Just smart runs.
Smart runs. Good roping.
Then T-Wade the Miners. Miners at number 3, 24,000. They had a really good Pinoca.
Awesome.
They scratched a lot over there at Pinoca. I hadn't got to see any of their runs. And they back at the Northwest, Malala, and then Livingston placed there, Basin City, a lot of placings. So it looks like they had a really good one.
Sure.
Really good. 15,000 at Pinoca.
Damn.
That's really good.
That's a nice hit, ain't it?
Those guys strike hard up there in Canada and Northwest and just win.
Anytime you can get $10,000 or $15,000 out of one rodeo out here, very, very good.
Isn't it amazing how good the rodeos have gotten? In my opinion, such a hats off and a hand clap to the committees.
Sure.
So many guys stepping up. I forget what rodeo was. Like the Reno now is almost the 3rd weekend of this summer because it started almost 2 weeks early between Vernal, Elko, Nevada stepped up. Holy smokes. That just used to be maybe $1,500 rodeo. Now it's at 15,000.
First year that I rodeoed, we didn't go to it.
Mm-hmm. And then Napa switched dates. And so, yeah, you're almost 2 weeks into it before Reno starts. It's wild. James Arviso and Logan Moore, young team, got him for 22,000.
That's awesome.
That's good to see. That James he's been, I think, on a lot of guys' radar, I think, for a minute.
He's going to be really good.
Yep.
He is good, but he's going to be one of the guys.
A little bit gay.
Mm-hmm. And then Logan looks solid back there every time I've seen him, too. They got a good style.
Yep.
Now we can pop off with number 5 at T-Wade and Thorpe. Almost 20 grand. So basically, T-Wade got about $20,000 worth of necks, look like, over the 4th.
I think that's the best 4th Wade's ever had by like 15 grand, too.
He texted me. I
don't know. I shouldn't have said I don't know that for sure. It just sounded good.
Sounds good. Well, he texted me a couple of weeks ago. I was at a clinic in Midland, and he had texted me. Let me see if I can read the text here, if I can find it. If anyone knows, his humor is freaking amazing. And he had texted me. He said, let's see if I can find it. Oh, he says, out of the blue, he says, you know what I like about rodeo and Chuck? And I was like, the fame, the money, and the girls. He texted back and said, not one damn thing.
Not one damn thing, he said.
So the closest I've come to spinning one was waving it off on the second one at Napa. He said he missed like 6 in a row.
That's why he goes for necks.
And one of the things that I keep telling him, like when I talk to him and when I think of him and when I think of so many guys out here is like, that's just temporary.
Yeah.
Like you can't keep that guy down long.
Well,
but it's so much, everyone just lights up so much on everyone's winning, but they forget that the amount of times the guy loses as well.
Oh, sure. That's like, it was a couple of years ago. It seems like that he had been struggling and wouldn't fall on. And then all of a sudden they get, Spanish Ogden, Deadwood, that little
damn near 40%
10
of
days
it all.
out there win nearly 55 grand or nearly 60 grand or something crazy like that at 3 rodeos. I mean, it was wild.
45, I think.
There we go. Whatever it was a lot.
Told you I'd keep you in line.
Yeah. But it's like, hey, we've won nothing. And all of a sudden in 10 days, we get 40,000. That's awesome. I mean,
the way he's able to laugh it off and make fun of, but then still be ready for when the roll comes. Like, that's what I thought his ability is about as good as anybody.
those guys like him and Skiza and the Tanner T, the guys that are all throwing it every time, they just have to keep doing it, because when it starts falling on, it's liable to fall on for 2 months.
Yeah. I think he even had a post out there about roping necks and finally winning checks or something like that. And then all I was thinking of is like, at Thanksgiving, there's no way that guy he's eating a turkey. That guy's ordering brisket for the Thanksgiving he should have for a brisket right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no turkey at all, man. We're eating what we're thankful for.
Yes, that's exactly right. Brisket makes us a living.
That's good.
Now, how was your guys' fourth? You guys were home around there, amateur in a little bit, circuit rodeo in a little bit, and also the fraternity at Fort Worth, wasn't it? Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we got a cool little amateur rodeo circle down there by the house, and like you said, out here the committees have stepped it up, and the big rodeoing is gotten way, way good. But even back at home, amateuring out there by the house, those little committees have stepped it up too, where I don't know who the highest dollar amount winner was. It had to have been, say, Triumph. But myself personally, I win right at somewhere between 15,500 and 16,000. And
between the show and
just the rodeos and the jackpots there.
Just rodeos and jackpots.
Yeah, man. So Abilene has a roping that pays, I think this year it paid like
$7,500 a man.
Is that what it paid? And the
Yeah.
one at Amarillo paid 80 something, didn't it? 82 or something.
I don't know. I didn't.
Because they both got good money added too, correct?
The jackpots didn't have any added money, but they were
They're just good fees and
high fees. And
get the teams.
So that one at Amarillo, I remember a few years ago, had some money added, but I don't know if they still did or not.
I'm not 100% sure about that. I just know it pays great, and the steers were awesome. That them guys that do the cows there every year for the rodeo and the jackpot there, they do a great job. Steers are always good.
Then what about the fraternity over there at Fort Worth?
It was good. They was down a little bit, the entries and stuff, because we just got back from the Old West deal there at Utah, and it's a long ways out there and high fees and stuff. So, I mean, for lack of better words, bunch of owners and riders and stuff, they shot their wad going out there. So need a little time to recuperate. And it was only about 10, 12 days from the time we got home till we're there at Fort Worth.
Going back there.
Again. Yeah. So the entries were down, but the payouts were still pretty good. I think there was only 40 something horses in the 4-year-old Heelan. And I just thankfully, I won first again on the horse Stunner, the one I won the deal at Utah on, the Old West deal, and it paid. I think there's 40-something horses. It paid $9,200 to win it, almost $10,000.
And Stunner's the roan.
Yeah, he's a little stun that Darren and Terry Johnson own. Yes, sir. Yeah, he's a cool little horse. I really like it.
Now, what did you ride yesterday at the Daddy?
Oh, my little dun that I bought off of Caden Lappy and Laramie Bain. He's we call him Newt. He's got a big scar on his butt. I tell everybody that an alligator bit him, so most people call him Gator.
Now, he's not one you fraternity on?
We did. So I only rode him one place myself as a 6-year-old. I bought him, March of his 6-year-old year. And I only rode him one place, and I did win first on him at the deal at Decatur. And then I let one of my good buddies, Paul Eves, he rode him at one place to catch up and get his entry in to be able to go to Fort Worth, and then he rode him in Fort Worth. He's super easy to catch on, but Paul, don't catch good on him. I don't know what the problem is.
It is funny how some will just fit a swing and a style with the stride. And some it works for and some it doesn't. It's weird where I've seen guys trade horses and all of a sudden didn't think much of the horse, but then when the trade happened, it's like, oh, okay, that fits.
Yes, sir.
It is funny how that works, huh?
Yeah, or you can really like one and get on him, and then you don't like him at all anymore.
Yeah.
It's weird, ain't it?
I've had that too. Well, let's talk about that $1 million mark right there of the record. That is phenomenal when you think about realistically when Jay Bird started everything in 2017 at Fort Worth when he laid his balls out there then, and
somebody said was either in like 06 or 07, and they had it at Salado, and I think JD was telling me about it. Well, I actually went to it. I was in college and I helped a little bit, and somebody said that to win it, the one deal, and it only paid like $2,500 or something, but still, yeah, that was better than the regular AQHA stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember when they were trying to kind of break away from the AQHA a little bit and start something that made more sense.
And then
it seemed like 17 was when Jay kind of got consistent with it. It seemed like after 17, wasn't it?
That was the first time we had the one in Fort Worth, the good one in Fort Worth at the end of the year, and Dean Tufton and some of those guys like that stepped up there and added some money to it and wanted it to work. And it did. It was really cool. It was the first time we'd have anything in the, young rope horse industry that paid anywhere near like that. So, and then, there's, when it first got going, there was Scottsdale, Arizona, and we'd have one there like at Lincoln, Nebraska. And then we added one at Oklahoma City during the Red Bud. And then we added one at the Oil Can and stuff like that. And
we're just restocking the herd here.
Sweet.
Bubba, need
a cocktail, if you will. And
hell, I still got some. But we're good. Hell, I'll take another.
But the fun part was once we started having enough of them that you could almost, and if you had some good horses to ride, you could almost make a living already. And that was before it got anywhere close to as good as it is now. So.
What, so the $1 million that you got in American Rope Horse Futurity earnings, some of it came heading, and obviously the majority of it came heeling, but the fact that you're able to, you are able to do both ends and would help get there, but it had to be, was there a race between you and Trevor? Like who was it kind of between, or did you just kind of run away with it? Because I feel like when we were talking about Pecos, there was kind of a race. It felt like if someone could get there by Old West Futurity.
Yeah, there was. TB and Miles, their program is awesome, and they both rode both ends good, so they get a chance to win both ends good all the time. I get very little chance to win in the head, and normally I have one, maybe two, that I've got a chance to do good on in the head, and they'll have a pile in both ends. So honestly, for me to get there first, it's a big accomplishment for myself because I mainly done it on one end. And he even at the deal at Ardmore after I won through Fordham, TB had already left, but he called me and because somebody said that's what happened, and he said, and for a guy like him, he said, man, I recognize dominance, like that's something that I'm into. So. Good work, So that was cool. That I like stuff like that.
Well, the camaraderie among the fraternities is about as good as anything as I've seen team roping. We see it bulldogging, right? That's one of my favorite guys, right?
Time.
But we don't see that team roping. We don't see it jackpot, and we don't see it the rodeos. But the fraternities, everybody's so damn happy for one another. It's the coolest environment I've ever seen in team roping.
Well, it's different from regular team roping because I said that to someone the other day. They talk about how cool, calm, and collected TB is all the time, Rodeo, and I almost never seen him get upset. Do bad, don't get upset. Steer messes him up. Calf messes him up. No matter what. Horse messes him around. Trailer breaks, catch on fire. He's never upset about anything. And I've seen him show more emotion in the last 2 or 3 years than I ever have. And it's because of the amount of work that goes in and the other, your customers you want to do good for them. They've got money invested.
More pressure and different directions, kind of.
And helping at them deals, it's, we're team roping, but very little of it has anything to do with you if you're the helper, other than we need to do a good job to help the other guys win, So there's a ton of pressure and stuff like. So for me, I commend those guys that help a lot all the time and do such a good job and block that out and just do their job. That's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard some of the guys talk about that's some of the hardest stress. Like even when I had Luke Branquino on the podcast the other day, and he was talking about how much he hated hazing.
Sure.
He said, I love it when they win, but man, if I cost them money, he's like, man, I just hate that. And you think about the helper having that pressure on him as well.
Pretty much the same difference.
Yeah. Man, I was talking to Jay Bird, and he sent me some of the payouts and stuff like that, and it's phenomenal. But what he was talking about how you made it in the heading a little bit and stuff, and Air Force One, man, he has been he's 6 this year, correct?
I almost wish somebody else would have had him. It's because I like him, and
I
wish
that
somebody
sucker.
else would have had him, and they could have won a ton on him because he's awesome, and I suck. So he kind of got cheated, I think, when he drew me.
Oh man, I that time when I got to ride him there at your house, like gosh dang, just the motor under him, just the fact that it was a controlled freight train, like is what it felt like, and I love that. My style. I want horns coming to me.
Sure.
And but then when you put it on the horn and they're just moving those feet, where you feel like you just part them steer's hair, like just had such a cool feel with a lot of speed.
Yeah, man, he's exceptional. He's better than me.
What now that he's 6, he'll be aging out this year. Where's he headed down the road? Do you know?
Honestly, I've been healing on him a bunch, and he's pretty cool to heel on. So we're gonna head on him too. I'll probably ride him. I got lucky and got Mr. Trey Johnson at the 15 finale.
Oh, there you go.
Out there at Vegas and
Good.
stuff. So that's
awesome.
He's most likely what I'll ride.
So you'll go out there and head and heel.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. That'll be fun. What, $1 million right there within a few years right there. What are you going to do with all that money?
Yeah, I wish there was some of it left, Chuck.
You're shitting me. You're trying to tell me in this industry that shit's already gone?
Oh, man.
I remember Bucky one time, he was telling me about when he's seen the commissioner one time out there on the golf course, and Buck tells him, he says, hey, $1 million cowboy, and I got nothing to my name. And I said, well, did you invest it, or, what are you spending on? Well, no, I spent it on women and booze, and I guess I must have blew the rest.
That don't shock me. That don't shock me.
I figured to be pimping around with a Rolex and be like, 50 Cent.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. 50 Cent, just you'd be a player pimp, then shot a few shells, maybe walk with a limp.
That's right.
Hey, you got a limp anyway.
Yeah.
You are pimping.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
That's crippled, Chuck.
I believe it. I believe it. Man, that's a lot of horses to ride to get that good, isn't it? That's a lot of reps.
Bobby Lewis's place give me a chance to get on a lot of horses and learn from the good ones and the bad ones, how to stay out of the good ones' way, how to help the bad ones try to get better. And, honestly, the breeding program that everybody's got now, and there's a chance to get on a lot of super talented colts now. And I spend more time trying to stay out of their way and slow down than I do trying to teach them anything. It's almost like they already know everything that we're trying to do. Just don't overdo it to where you overcook the bacon.
Yeah. You do a good job. I feel like when you watch them horses, their eyes always look comfortable. They look very, very confident in their job, but just like I say, the amount of trust it looks like, even when you get off of them, where they knocking everyone else's hat and stealing everyone's rope glove out of their belt and stuff like that. They're always constantly doing that, but they're not scared of humans. They enjoy humans.
We try to. I'm a horse lover. Honestly, I have some.
That's kind of what it like when you see it. You can tell it.
Well, I have some they'll never get sold. They'll die at my place or somewhere where I've got them turned out, and nobody's going to ride them when they're old and decrepit, and because I love them.
Yep.
They were good for me, and I want to be good for them.
What you was talking earlier too about helping, and you helped Jackie over there at the Old West, and
yeah,
man, that was cool. That's a cool mare. She She reminds me of you a little bit too.
At Ardmore, what did it for me? Because on the first or second steer, she backs her in there, and I don't know what the guy running the gate, he messed up. But it was honestly, it was to our advantage because he slipped off of the thing of the gate.
He went to open the gate and his hand slipped and didn't open it, right?
And banged it.
Yeah.
And the gate didn't open, and that mare never flinched.
Yeah.
They stand there like a wooden Indian.
It is amazing the confidence she'll give one of them horses too, and then that horse is good too. So between the two of it fits really good.
Well, if you take her for example, how many different horses she's rode to win as much as she has, and it seems like every time she shows up on a new one that she's been tinkering with, they will break their leg to help her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that you can't just get that good a horse every time. That speaks more to her, for me, of how good a job she does of gaining their confidence and their trust and keeping them to where they'll try to help her.
Yeah. That horse looks the part. I think it's a gypsy and a cat itchy, something like that.
I like the cat.
It looks like it offsets the because them gypsies can get a little bit panicky. And that mare could, but the fact that she doesn't go that route, it just looks like it offsets real good. And it just, I was, and what I love too is that first round, it looked like Jackie was a little nervous, and the fact it's kind of getting the feel of it. Second round, she hit the start. And I think when she knew that horse was going to score, then it looked like she was on attack mode, like then just knocking the start, setting them up.
Trevor Brazil and Ren Richard, Andy Hope and Miles Baker, the whole list. I mean, we go down the list for 3 days. They're all entered and they're all riding their very best ones. And she wins the second round. Misses up the first time, comes back.
The Old West, yeah.
Comes back and wins the second round at the Old West deal.
Well, what I was talking about was over there at Ardmore where like when they first cracked them out when you guys were over there. And then the horses kind of kept getting better and better. And you could tell by the third round, she was already excited about going to Old West because that was the first time she'd taken her anywhere. And then I think you guys were top 3 or something like that in the short round. I can't remember what happened in the short round. I forgot.
Stop it. You shut your mouth.
Did he miss another one in a short round?
That steer did me wrong. You watched the video. No, I did too. It made me so mad because it doesn't make me mad when I rope a leg for you. It really doesn't. Or for Buck. It doesn't bother me at all. But when I rope a leg for her, it really pisses me off. If I have to be honest. Yeah.
I wish it didn't bother me when you roped a leg.
Yeah.
Oh, that was.
I've learned to get over it.
I said, man, you'll break your heart, won't he? He's like, every time.
Oh, man.
No, she didn't say shit.
No.
That was
so
funny.
bad.
But yeah, she was excited to go over there to the Old West. And then, gosh dang, one of the hardest things for her is the breakaway all the time and then not heading much and that coil slipping out when you get up there in position because in breakaway, you're always letting that thing go. And she had the little pin horn sucker and kind of let that coil slip right there and popped it off the first one.
There was just too much row.
And then pretty good bounce back in round 2 over there at the Old West, over there at Utah, huh?
Win this comeback and win the second round with, everybody entered. Not talking about girls, but she's an intermediate girl. You know what I mean? And come back and win the second round of the whole deal, and that just tells you what kind of the level of confidence that she can give one of them horses. You know what I mean? That's just awesome.
It really did kind of like one of the biggest, I think, debate points that I kind of have a lot of my clinics is the big move. I feel like the 70s and 80s, everyone rode the front end. So when they roped, they would just kind of peel the shoulders off and rein them out. And then, horses' ribs and butt would get exposed to the steer and get weak and go down the pin. And then I feel like there's an overcorrection with, then now rope, cross, right leg, and side pass them on over. Where now a lot of you guys have gotten so good with being able to rope and stand them horses up so good in the corner. To me, it looked like it really, with as fresh as those steers were, it really exposed the guys that have had good control in that corner, I thought, on the head side.
Man, yeah, for sure. So I went to, here it's been a couple months ago maybe now, and I just went and rode with TB and Miles, and Trevor's been working on one that they had traded, JD and Hunter. They had him a horse trade, and they got the Bama Cat from Trevor and them, and then I can't remember how that horse that Trevor got was bred, but TB just went to heading on him. Quit messing with the heel and just went to heading on him. And he made me ride him while I was there. You had to do nothing. Like, you had to do nothing. You just score until you want to go, and you turn loose the reins, and you go right to the right place. And you head the steer, and then when you stick it on the saddle horn, I just stuck my hand up there in his mane and just let him do what he wanted. And it just makes the cow perfect. Well, that horse didn't hit the ground doing that. TB taught him how to do that, and so for those, if you get a handful of those guys like that, that can give a horse, like you said, so much confidence and so much timing, that the way they move and how they hook onto the steer and that kind of stuff, they're ahead of the other guys. You know what I mean? When you get to the function and they kick your butt, I'm speaking from experience here, you can't be mad about it. You know what I mean? I've rode my head horse, and then I go and I ride TB's head horse. TB's head horse is better than mine. So when he wins, he's supposed to,
Bubba, did you watch the Old West Open heading out there?
I didn't get to watch it. Got this flip phone. You can't do much with it.
The flipper got you down.
Yeah. I heard all about
it. The flipper gets me down too, man.
Well, they don't give callbacks to the Old West for the emails, do they? Thank God, I hope not.
I'm finally feeling your pain, Chuck.
You got a flipper and no email.
Your pain.
How the hell do you guys get anywhere?
Bro can't enter. 0 directions. Nothing.
I just don't care where we go.
You got a healer header. Huh. Yeah, that's awesome.
I do.
That's awesome. Works out
good.
Man, Tate did awesome out there, didn't he? Golly, his
back after he hurt his leg and stuff.
That's sorrow. You talk about standing one up.
Horse.
Yeah. That sucker stood up there so good, and that melted that sucker around, then finished all the way around. His training program is done amazing, I think, on that head side. I think another guy that's doing, in my opinion, I love watching his head horse, Billy Jack.
Yeah, he's got some good ones.
I really like watching him on the head side.
I think that Billy Jack just could have been a header. Like, he could have been a header if that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah. That one that Cody Snow's got out here, man, that sucker took it good. But that gray that he's been riding, I really like the way he works. He looks like good. Looks real good.
That Bonnie Freckles, I can't remember her whole name, but she's sweet.
Oh, Jackie was telling me about old Sly. Sly used to drive for old Trevor. And they were all sitting around. I guess Trevor telling Jackie about the story about after Trevor and Miles' horses bring $1.7 million in the sale. That Sly looks over and goes, "Man, no telling what that horse could have brought if you wouldn't have broke out and missed."
Yeah. It's never too early. You know what I mean? I've learned that.
Well, Trevor was the one bragging about how funny it was.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, talk about a guy that loves to just joke nonstop.
Oh, no, he does. He likes it. But here's the deal. If you
air that just went out of the arena when that happened, huh?
Oh, yeah. Nobody could believe it.
Yeah. That looks like one of the easiest head horses going. That old clubhouse, that yellow.
Oh, the yellow.
He looks so easy.
Pretty sucker.
Yeah. Smooth.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, when that and then miss was like, I was watching on TV,
miss
and
came from the Yeah, that was sheer red ass.
Oh man,
had to have been.
But then to walk back over there and shake Tate's hand and congratulate him. But that is so cool for Tate, son of a gun.
He's obviously the people's champ, man. He's a good dude.
What do you think that does for Tate's training program? That's got to lift him up in a category.
Back, he ain't even been getting to do it, but 2 or 3 weeks before we went out there because of the broke leg or whatever, and then he had G there at home, Garrett Somers. I gotta say his name right, Garrett Somers. I call him the G-Man, but G, he been there riding him, and them boys riding him and helping Tate while he was hurt. And how good does that look on them? You know what I mean?
Yeah, having that good help, huh?
Taters helped him, and, G worked for Clay Logan for a long time, too, and so he's had some good guys to ride, with and behind, and he's learned how to keep them operating, obviously. So
yeah.
Good for the whole program, man.
And then old Jeremy on the heel side. I
was super pumped for Jerry.
That's pretty cool, huh?
I was super pumped for him. Right
Bueller.
I just got to do my little teary-eyed interview because I'm such a sissy and emotional, but at the end of it, they said, what are you looking forward to now? I said, I'm looking forward to watching Jerry kick the crap out of him in this 6 and under heeling. All these guys, he's got them. All he's got to do is finish. And he did, man. He did a great job. Great job.
Well, man, there was a lot of emotion out there, it felt like. Your win, Tate, life-changing wins, what it does for their business, what it does for their brand. But, man, Clyde Boljak, is that how I say his name? What did he win out there? But just the win for him, like, to me, I mean, anyone who's got kids, anyone who's got a heartbeat, you know what I mean? Exactly. I think everybody was rooting for him.
Oh, yeah. No, him and his little sweet wife, they're so nice, good kids, and they say that. I haven't been around him that much outside of at the functions and stuff, but he's always super nice boy around me, and they say he's a working little sucker, and I really like that. I like a boy that'll work. So to see him win and do good, and we're coming up with a new kind of a system in rope horse deals where to be eligible to be intermediate, it's got
just press on the rig. There you go.
It's got a little something to do with the number and stuff now, but I think more to do with money won. So
that was going to be one of my questions to you because, it's numbered now, which I think is great because that was a good starting point.
Yes, sir.
But what I'm so excited for in the fact of if you're going to have to evolve, that means you're growing.
Sure.
And that's what I think is cool now. It's going to be the next uphill climb. But now how do you judge someone on the left-handed feet? Because it's not so much about roping. There could be a 9-header. Trevor's not going to be a 9-header much longer. I'm not a 9-header. There's so many guys that are not because you don't have to drop coils no more when you're futurity-ing. So, like, how is it to where now a guy is going to be able to start getting judged on his ability to ride a horse? It's almost going to have to be money won in some way to where it's going to have to recategorize everyone on how you put them in brackets. Don't you think?
It's silly. Just like that. And like one of them boys like, Clyde, I think he's won enough, this year, and he's for sure going to, if he hasn't hit the dollar mark already, he's going to win enough that they're going to kick him out of the intermediate, and he's going to have to butt heads with the, straight open crowd. And I'm not saying he can't because he did up there. He won pretty good a couple times in the open up there at the Old West deal, Utah, but I would rather, I think there's needs to be stipulations and there needs to be some producer, leniency and some of that stuff for some of them guys. I think Clyde's either a 7+ or an 8 healer maybe, and doing a great job. And obviously he's training good, but I would rather get this, like the young crowd at the regular team rope and stuff. I want to see them get to win good, real good before they've got to move up.
Well, let them kind of get their training program established, let them kind of learn how to get the feel of it. And, you're growing the sport, you're growing the event in the fact of, my opinion, what the fraternities have done now is there's such a need for head horses and heel horses because there's such a saturated amount of ropers. There's got to be 1 million ropers in team roping. So to be able to start having guys and more trainers now because there's actually an event that they can make a living doing it. And now there's actually finally a judging system that is updated with what the head horses need to do and work like, and heel horses as well. And so the horses that don't make the top level, man, what better jackpot horses to go to. And then also is now there's more trainers that are starting to do this because there's actually money now finally in being a trainer.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's doing a good job of filling a void. But in the same sense, I love the fact that it's evolving now, that now we're going to have to figure out now how to bracket this, because I think that's such a good idea to have your open, your intermediate, your limited, and your non-pro, because to me, the non-pro limited is building a foundation underneath the basically your association.
Oh, well, basically, we're
because there's so many numbers there.
It, just like we did the team rope, and when they come out with the number system and all that, which is a good thing, obviously. So I looked at Jaybird. He showed me, here a couple of times, like during maybe Ardmore and Oklahoma City, futurities, the numbers on it, how many limited and intermediate guys were in each class. And to be honest, I'm glad he showed it to me because it was shocking, how many limited and intermediate riders.
Because if it was just open, it'd just be a few of you guys.
It wouldn't be with 25.
You'd just be trading money
It
out.
wouldn't be with 25 horses, 20.
Yep.
We'd just be over there slugging it out. It'd be the hardest 20 horse class you've ever been in your life. And we need them. The industry needs them.
Now, on the head and side, the intermediate is a 7+ and above. Or excuse me, 7+ and below. Is that correct?
It's a 7+ and below.
And then the limited is 6+ and below on the head side.
I think that's true. Yeah.
And then the non-pro.
I think it's 5+ and below.
5+ and below.
5 maybe.
Okay. And then what is the intermediate on the heel side?
8+.
8+, and then the limited on the heel side.
It's either a 6+ or a 7.
Yeah. So like I said, that's the same thing that looked like I was talking about Jaybird this morning on the phone, and he was there. Like that is kind of the focus now on how now do we gauge these guys now on ability, and because that's going to be a tough hill to climb.
You know, you got a boy like Clyde Bojack or John Ryan Foster's a straight 8, and when Johnny has things go the right way, he's an open contender. But when it don't go the right way, if he gets to be intermediate, he can stumble around through there and place in that, keep his customers going, keep his horses going. And so it's, for me, I agree that we have to do some separating and stuff, but I don't want to fix it to where like the U.S. did when they started the number deal, and it just got it there for a while to where, man, if you won anything, they raised your number to where it was hard for you to win. I don't want our deal to do that.
I don't feel like it will, because I feel like you guys have already seen that. So I think it's going to be something they'll sidestep a bit, but it's going to be a challenge. Oh, but to me, that's awesome. That means it's evolving. So
what I do like about it is pretty much every time we get done with a futurity, by Tuesday, Jaybird's called me. Hey, what'd you hear? What were they saying? What do we need to fix?
Yeah.
So he cares. Like he gives a hoot about whether it goes right or not. And that's something, you know.
Hello, everyone. If you've been wanting to get into team roping or improve your skills as a beginner header, now's your chance. Join us for the NRS Beginner Headers Only Clinic at the NRS Arena in Decatur, Texas, October 3rd through the 5th. This clinic is designed just for the beginner headers up to a number 3, focusing on roping the horns, solid horsemanship, and the fundamentals you need to build confidence and stay safe while having a great time. Head over to charlycrawford.training or check the podcast description to get the link to enroll. We'll see you in Decatur. I was, Jaybird sent me some of the numbers here. On this, they said last year that the 2024 added money at the Old West Futurity was $385,000. This year, in 2025 at the Old West, added money $617,720. That is wild. That is, and when I was talking to Ren yesterday, I was over there at Reggie's. Jackie was roping over there, and they said that not a cent was touched. It all went to the ropings. It was all added money. Stock charging coming out of that, it all went right to the ropers. That is so wild, isn't it?
It's just awesome, you know, how big a wave them guys are making for us. You know, and we're, you know, I'm speaking for all of us. We really appreciate them. You know, Reggie and Mr. Chad and Ren hustling, helping us, you know, doing a great job. So I just appreciate them guys. And I've told them multiple times, but anything I can do to help, I'd be game on.
They said the total roping entries last year, 317. This year, 515. The entry class and the subclasses, 434 last year, 776 this year. And then, total horses last year was 256. This year is 514.
That's in 1 year, Chuck.
It's in 1 year.
That's in 1 year.
That's wild, isn't it?
That's awesome.
So last year they broke $1 million on team roping payout. This year, 1.4 million, almost 1.5 million.
Well, it just goes to show you they did what they said they would do.
That's no lie.
People
shoot, they did what they did, and I even talked to them, and they did what they did, and they also exceeded their expectations. Also,
that's great.
That's phenomenal.
It's great.
Because I was trying to, what my goal here, you know, kind of with the podcast and trying to basically kind of give a recap of the Old West Futurity is for a lot of people to have all the questions. There's so many questions on kind of how it was ran. What was the sale? How was the sale like? What you were
first class.
Well, you were also there, but like, how do you get in the sale? Like, what is some of the?
So what it is, there's they sold 40 spots, and each spot comes with 3 additional berths. So let's say that all 40 spot holders had 4 horses that they wanted to put in a sale for next year, or they had a horse and then they sold 3 of their spots, because you can do that. You can sell your spots. There's a capability of there being 160 head of horses in that sale. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm saying I see more like in the future of there being, 80 to 100 maybe. And which I think if that would be a, good number. I think if you get too many horses, then it drags on too long and the evening wears on too long, and it's just people can't stay hooked all night long. But it's great. So the 3-year-old that I had taken out there that I'd sold premier rope horses that went in the sale, Mr. Chad Richard bought him and I sent him home with me. So I got him back, which is awesome. So now Mr. Chad and them are customers of mine. So that's awesome. So, and new relationships, and that sale's bringing about all kinds of cool stuff. But don't get me wrong, that one of that mare of TB and them and Miles and them's bringing, 1.7 million.
That is wild numbers in the team roping.
It is just unheard of. I mean, we ain't never had a rope horse prospect or any kind of thing bring any kind of money like that. You're talking about like real racehorse stuff now, which, hey, the Richards are racehorse people, so.
Well, they brought that. It seems like it looks like that's their goal, is to try to bring that style into the team roping world.
But you take just a little old sale like that I had, for $150,000 for a 3-year-old, but don't have very many steers chased on it. That's a lot of money. You know what I mean? But in the grand scheme of things, with him being eligible for that million and that stuff, if that were to happen, $150,000 don't sound like all that expensive now.
Well, what was the other? There's a lot of horses that brought money. I heard one came with 700. One went for 700.
I think that was.
A few went for 300.
That Mr. Chad Mrin and them owned, the one that went for 700. And Miles, they had a mare bring 300 and something, 75 or 80. That the buckskin mare. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Solo Select, TB, and Miles have done a good job with the industry on really promoting as well. But also with what Ren and Probst have done with getting partners and getting people to show up and investing into this industry has been, for you guys, for me, for all of us out there, is just like hats off to what they're doing now to showcase what you guys are able to do with these horses.
Well, people that do good know other people that do good. You know what I mean? And it just follows itself around a little bit to where, there was several people at that sale the other night over there that they got enough money to play the game if that's what they decide they want to do. Well,
you talk about blow
the industry needs
the sale market for horses out of the water.
Sure. What are some of those worth now?
Yeah.
The potential of them bringing that. It's not that all of them are going to bring that, because they're not. But now it lets the public see the potential for them to bring that.
Ren sent me this morning and said sold 40 elite slots. Each slot will have the ability to have 4 berths. Each berth is $25,000.
Yes, sir.
Goal is to really grow the non-pro and add the limited division. Plans is possibly to have multiple events in the near future.
Yep. That
was a big statement.
They're wanting to have 3 is what Mr. Chad had told me, is they're wanting to have, and if I don't want to be wrong here, but they're going to do the one in Utah. That one's always going to be the one, because it's where they're from and that's where they want to do. And that's awesome. But they're wanting to have 2 more, one maybe in Vegas, one maybe in, I think you might have said Guthrie, Oklahoma. which is a great place to do it. Not just for me because it's 2 hours away, but because the arena and
Great
facility
facility.
and stuff is great. Yeah, great place to do it. So,
Middle of the, and also the middle of the states. So you're not just partial to one way or the other.
if they're gonna have 3, and then
There you go, Joey.
thanks, Ray.
Bubba.
Oh, thank you.
If
You're
they're gonna have 3,
Thanks, Shy.
and Driggerson and them for the Gold Buckle, they're gonna have
Open that one, would you,
You know,
Chuck?
Yes, sir.
2 good ones, maybe Ardmore and Abilene, and then
Thank you.
if Jaybird is going to have, 2 or 3 more, say Scottsdale and Ardmore and Oklahoma City, we're talking about having 8, 9 with the one at the end of the year. It's at Amarillo this time. I don't know whether to go back to Fort Worth or not. I would expect that it would, just because of the hype and the everything that goes on down there. It's got to be a good place for us to be at the end of the year. But you're talking about having, with about 9 or 10 of those futurities on a year's time, that's good enough. That's about enough. Just because any more than that, it'd be sure enough hard to keep your
herd together.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, you got to remember they're babies.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking 6 years old and under horses, and with a good majority of them being 4 and 5. So that's a lot for a 4 and 5-year-old horse.
But man, just the fact that you're getting that kind of money and into the industry, though, is really going to grow it. Really going to grow it.
Well, I've had several of the, not my customers, because they're everybody understands, but several of the, the people say, why even mess with showing a Gildan? Because before, the consensus of it, like showing a Gildan in the AQHA, you can't make no money. Well, I've got a couple of them Gildans there at the place that, Tony O'Comperton, I won, I don't know, some kind of 240,000 on him at those deals. Well, if you break it down, my customers made money, pretty good money. And then when you sell that thing, because if he's good enough to do that, somebody wants him. You sell him, so showing a Gildan don't look so pointless anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because in the team roping world, gildings are the gold. Now you're starting to see what mares are worth, though, because out here, the mares, on the head side, it seemed like it was hard on them. The traveling, you didn't see very many mares at the top level. I'm not saying that all of them, but just the majority of them was on the head side was gildings. The heel side, it seemed like they do all right on the heel side, but it seemed like it was hard on them. But
still more Gildans.
But yeah, still more gildings. But now those mares are going to be worth way more. A good mare in the futurity is going to be worth way more.
Paul's done it 2 or 3 times now with some of those mares that he's rode. And
the eggs are getting out of them, all the stuff that's going on now.
Sell that mare and keep her and ride her for the promotion of it. And they sell embryos out of them, collect embryos and stuff out of them. So it's just
almost like having a stud in a way.
Pretty much. I mean, almost, yeah. The only difference for me is you're limited for, so many embryos, out of that mare every year. Whereas that
stud can rock on. Yeah.
100 mare.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
but due to the fact they are still worth money, it's good to see And so Ren said, we want to attract to the best horses in the industry to the Old West sale in hopes of someone winning the $1 million every year.
Sure.
So, man, that's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait to see where this grows from here, because I think they're really trying to bring the horse racing world into it, where people are going to have horses in the race. You're going to attract more money. Love to see it now where you start getting TV rights in there, or,
Oh, yeah.
I think that's going to be coming.
And all that stuff is everything's going to benefit from this, and which is what they want. And they're helping the industry. They're, somebody that I'm not naming names, but somebody said that the other day. I said, "Oh man, they're just helping the industry." I said, "They said they're helping themselves." I said, "Well, sure. I'm not mad at them for helping themselves while they help everybody else. I mean, why not?" So that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, man, hats off to all those guys involved, the Richards, Probes, everybody in there. Man, it was just cool to see, and all the bidders, the guys coming in and buying.
Oh yeah.
Brian Beaver, I know, plays a big part coming into this industry, and I don't even know the Naz name that bought the 1.7. from up there in the
I think his name is Alan Jones.
Panhandle, I believe.
Border, Texas.
Yeah.
That's where this
Amazing.
is from.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So you guys are out here now rodeoing because you guys, Bubba, you guys got some money won just piddling around the house, correct?
Oh yeah, we've went. I mean, honestly, we've done really good to the rodeos we've been to. We have, I don't know, we've probably been to what, Joseph, 20 rodeos probably, and I think we got some kind of 30,000 one now probably after Cheyenne. It's been pretty good.
Just piddling and circuit rodeoing, basically, correct?
Yes, sir.
Joseph, you're still lucky, huh?
Yeah, lucky
He
by
will
nature.
draw a loper.
Lucky by nature. I want to stay with it too, old son.
Damn right.
It's true.
Keep speaking that shit in fruition, man.
I know, man. I told you that right before the American that year.
Every time.
I said I'm lucky by nature, Chuck.
Love it.
And I have been my whole life. So
this gives you a little downtime right now between the next futurity. So you guys are able to kind of go out here. What is kind of the game plan besides winning the daddy, obviously, because you're off to a good start? But what is kind of the game plan here for the next few weeks, few months? What is you guys' game plan?
Well, I'd say we had one, but every time we come up with a game plan, my partner tries to change the plan. So we don't really know. We're just
Bubba, what is the plan?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't want to leave it to Joe.
You know, I just go wherever. We got in Salt Lake. Joseph said we need to circuit rodeo. I mean but it's only got like 100,000 added or 65.
Right.
I don't know. We're just easing around. Our goal is kind of to win the circuit. I thought about maybe going up to the Northwest. Joseph doesn't want to go, and I think my black horse would do really good up there, but I really don't know if I want to go or not and be gone that long. But
what is it about your guys' run? Because every time you guys go, no matter where you go, it connects. What do you feel like the run is? What is it? Is it the head horse? Is it the fact that you guys know each other and where everyone's going?
We've roped for, I don't know, some kind of 25 years now together off and on, and that obviously that black head horse plays a big part, but we've won quite a little bit while we wasn't riding him over the years. So don't get me wrong, now I'm giving him a lot of credit because he is that good. And I love him myself personally, but I think that we've roped together long enough that it just works, I guess. I don't know.
Bubba, have you rodeoed with Joseph for a full year yet? I know you guys are buds, but have you made it a full year?
Chuck,
no, we usually
like that. Here I was.
I'll tell you what.
I just want to know how tough he was.
Grow up with a guy and he'll axe you right there in the heat of the battle. You want to go to dinner tonight? I got to tell you, I cut you.
Yeah. This is great. Well, this is fun. I really appreciate it.
I love it. The one thing I found out, you can't stay mad at him long.
You know, rodeoing the whole time, I've only ever actually cut two people.
Bubba,
and
me. He's got his 4 fingers and half a thumb hanging up.
No thumb. But it was buck both times. That's the stupid part. It really was.
Well, every time I will look up at you guys, have every jackpot, like it's phenomenal. My military roping, World Series finals, BFI. Like, let's talk about that freaking BFI just real quick. First off, that is a head horse. That is where the head horses work.
Yeah, sure.
And then both of you guys got the award, correct?
Yes, sir.
How cool was that?
No,
because that is the best rope horses in the world.
I agree.
It's the coolest roping. It's the most grueling roping. You have to stay tuned in all day long, and you only get to run 6 steers, and it takes all day to do it.
Damn near 10, 12 hours, probably something like that.
It's tough sometimes, but
probably 10.
If a guy can just stay tuned in, good enough to be tuned in, but not enough to be tired, and do your job. Know every time. You just can't forget and go too early and shove the cow left in the 4th round. You know what I mean? It's so easy to not be paying attention enough to where the first one, everybody's in tune. Okay, BFI, this is what we do. We don't shove the cow around and catch up with our partner and all that stuff. But like I said, by the 4th, 5th round, the roping, the day drags on. So you wind up messing up somewhere that you wouldn't have in the first couple rounds because you let your mind get away from what we were doing. So I was just thankful this time, pay attention enough all day, not to do that.
Well, Joe, I think the one thing that eluded you while you were rodeoing that bummed me out as well, I was always wanting, and I figured you'd have a couple of them by now, was the fact of, having the horse of the year in the PRCA. You've been known for having those best horses out there, and for you not to get that bummed me out. I was always hoping for that dub myself, but
I think it's rigged.
But the fact that now the best jackpot horses out there in the world, got that win, I thought that was pretty special to get that
man.
amongst the best guys in the world that are out there, rodeoing and jackpotting.
So I got the horse of the roping in 22. Also the little sorrel roach mane horse that I call the governor. He got the horse of the roping that year.
And I know that horse was special to you too.
Yeah, I really like him. He's just a good horse. But so for me, that stud, he's what we were talking about when Bird was saying, man, I want to, when Jay Wadham started the ARHFA and all that stuff, and he wanted to showcase a nice young rope horse that could potentially be rode at the BFI. Now, that was his exact words, at the BFI, at the good ropings and rodeos. Well, that horse is, after I won the horse with the roping on him, I think the next place we took him to, won the futurity on him because he's still of age.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to be 6 years old and be what he is pretty cool. I'm pretty fortunate to have him.
Now, what is the breeding on him?
He's by one-time Peptoing out of a mare named New Baby Blue. Brett and Margot Davis, Gucci Equine owns him, and Ryan Sellers raised him.
That's a stud, correct?
Yeah, he's a stallion.
Now, where would everyone go to try to
So he's got a Facebook page.
be able to breed to that horse?
He's got a Facebook page and a website. And I don't think as of yet, because nobody told me I could say where he's standing.
Still working on it?
Yeah, I think they're in throws.
Yeah,
right
awesome.
now. So,
well, I know he would be in demand in this industry.
I think so, man. He's a sure enough a nice horse.
Bubba, what is that black bred like?
Well, we've talked about him a lot. He come from the Richards. He's a Brookstone Bay out of a daughter of Chicks Ablazing. He's straight racehorse.
Straight racehorsing.
Yep. He's off the track. I think he had 3 outs, and maybe he's got a 85 or 86 speed index. He's sure enough fast for a rope horse. I like that racehorse stuff. I like racing horses. I got some race horses on the track. I got one, and
Bodie's Cowgirl.
Yeah, Bodie's Cowgirl. She's run one race. Now she's crippled, but straight racehorse.
What? When did you get that black?
I bought him from a really good friend of mine, Rowdy Jones, in 2021. I was roping with Daniel Brayman, and it's a funny story. I went and tried him for Thomas Brayman, and he said, I'm not giving that kind of money for a horse without trying him. And I said, well, there's supposed to be some guys coming to try him this week, and if you don't buy him, they are. I promise you, he's the real deal. And I went ahead and called that kid when I left there, and I said, hey, would you just sell him to me? And he said, yeah. And I think I vetted him the next day, and the rest is history.
How cool was that to win that award for the head horse? Because that is the elite of head horses.
Considering he was supposed to win it the 2 years in a row before that, it was finally pretty cool.
Well, I ain't saying that. I think he's one of the best, but
well, your guys' jackpot record to me
really
exposes that.
Maybe sometimes he ain't the flashiest horse in the world, but I tell you what he will do is score, and he will haul ass to the cow. And when you got one you're not supposed to win on, or that could take you out of the roping, it usually don't feel that hard on him. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can draw yourself out anywhere, but I mean, we went to Amarillo the other day and drew one that.
And we run him 3 times.
We run him 3 times, and he would smoke you.
Twice at the jackpot.
And we won 4th at the rodeo on him, and shouldn't have got a time. I mean, that horse is just pretty phenomenal, and to win that award at the BFI, that's probably in my books my biggest accomplishment, or his biggest accomplishment. That meant more to me than anything, because I don't do the futurity deal or anything yet, and like to have a horse that's that caliber in your possession, it's pretty awesome feeling.
You don't have to tell me who, but how much have you been offered for that horse so far?
It's funny. We were at dinner last night
yesterday.
and it was, I mean, it's more than, I probably should do it, but I got to thinking about it and what I would spend to buy one. And
yeah, don't say replace him. Try to replace him.
Yeah,
I mean,
keyword TRY.
Yeah, we found a 6-year-old that I really like, and they asked us $100,000 for him, and he's never been that much. And so, I mean, something that is half as good as black is going to cost me half what I could get for him. So, probably won 150 average the last 4 years. We don't rodeo that hard or nothing, but when I go somewhere, I want to be riding like at Cheyenne yesterday.
Chance to win.
I still got that burning desire to win something.
So how much have you been offered?
I've had a couple offers for 300 and
nice. That's just cool to hear in the industry. You know what I mean? Like, because like that is the horse that guys could go make a living on.
Oh.
So it's always interesting to hear what the price is for what that horse would cost to be able to go make a living rodeoing on.
Yeah.
Because that horse is, like I said, I've watched all your guys' runs at the short score rodeos on him, and then I've watched you guys kick one's ass over there at Daddy or the BFI. It's just phenomenal.
He's a freak, man. There's no way that, don't get me wrong, if he's fresh and you haven't been riding him, like, he might take the bit on you on one, but
That race blood pop out every once in a while.
Yeah, if you've got his mind right, he ain't wiggling and they ain't nothing outrunning him. He's just pretty special.
Yeah, it fits your guys' deal for sure. Joey, let's talk about that frickin' short round hill shot. I ain't cussed on this podcast much, but I'm not going to lie. When I watched that son of a bitch on frickin' my phone, I about threw my phone on the fact of like, holy heel shot. Like, out of the fucking, I ain't said it yet, but I'm telling you, every once in a while when I get excited, that F-bomb pops out. But the balls you had hanging out on each side of the kennel when you fired it off with that bitch was, what the shit? Like, that was highlight ESPN real shit right there.
My wife said she was driving because she left early to go home and feed. And she said she swerved off. What the shit is wrong with you?
You stupid Okie.
Yes.
And made it work.
Man, honestly, I'll tell you what happened in my mind. We don't get that many opportunities to win that roping.
That's when we were watching it, that's when I said, like, Joey's wanting to win that bitch.
You're trying to win the rope.
He held his balls out there enough because this is a shot to win it right here, and we're going to try it on.
So I knew I had a chance if I could get by a second call back. Jurgensen Jr. won the roping the year before. The odds of them drawing that drooling loper that they ran in the short round this time just wasn't
drooling
that
loper was
good.
No lie.
Oh,
that was hard to score and handle.
I had tore the barrier down.
He was almost too slow, huh?
That's what everybody tells me. I said, if you'd have had that one, I said, if I'd have had that one, we'd have been getting our 3,500 for making a short round.
If we'd have had that one, the buzzer would have went off after I healed it. But no, on a serious note.
Good thing they didn't have a heel barrier.
That's no shit.
Are you guys done?
Not really.
So, honestly, I knew if I got by a second, that I'd have a chance. And what I seen play out in my mind, I've rode with that black head horse a lot. So when it went on the neck, Old Black's always up and forward and a little free anyway. And when it happened, everybody says, man, how do you think of all that stuff going that fast? How did all that enter your thinking before you threw? Well, anybody that's healed as many steers as I have knows that there's a lot of stuff could go through your mind that fast. And I just saw that little steer just blooping downstream, blooping right up in front of me like it was just going to be easy. And when Buck pushed up on video, I mean, he pushes up just like I thought he was going to and everything, but that little steer was just so small and frail that when it kind of like that black head horse is, what is he, 1.5 hands tall, and I don't know what he weighs, but he's a big rascal. So when it all come tight, it just kind of wrinkled her a little bit, and I didn't really see that coming. but I was already in my delivery when it was happening. So in my mind, I cussed me a little before it went on.
I was too.
And,
I was like, what the hell are you doing?
And I did. I really did. I thought, boy, this is
That really screwed the pooch. Now I'm a hero.
Oh, yeah. No, and once it went on there, I was going, oh, yeah, piss on you, Buck. I know you thought I missed that one.
Well,
we got to the back, and he told somebody, they said, what was going through your mind when he was throwing? He said, well, we got $3,500 for making the short.
yeah, we got our fees back, but
Because that was hanging your balls out enough knowing that, okay, this is hero or zero.
Oh, yeah.
Two options.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
And-
you either
And to
gotta
not
tape on
have
or-
it win first was kind of a letdown. The fact of, because I mean, it's still that run rang through our industry, because everyone, when I get to every school from there, did you see Joey's heel shot? Did you see Joey's heel shot? But like, to be able to try that one on and then win it would have been just a cherry on top. But
Oh, man, yeah. That
still
was
a
the
rank
goal.
shot.
That was the goal.
Yeah.
I didn't even see Junior heel because I already knew that drooling Loper it made me so mad. Yeah, I was telling Buck, I told
Little
Buck, I said, they're going to get
Little
the
black loafer got froth out of his mouth.
I said, yes.
Just
Well, I must have had him tied up back there in the back all day. I told Buck, I said, bro, they're going to get the runner. We're going to win it. And then the steer took off, and Jigger stopped his head horse in the middle of the box, and I just quit watching. He can't beat these two fricks. Made me so mad. I was tickled for them, but man, at the same time.
they're pretty hard to beat anyway.
Shit,
I mean,
no, that's no lie. That's no lie.
I think we could have went 4-7 in the short round, and they
They would have figured a way.
They'd have figured out a way.
5-3.
They're
Yep.
good.
Yeah, they are. They are. But yeah, that was a shot, man. So circuit is kind of something you guys have in mind, and then just hitting the good ones is the goal to kind of come out here. Well, you have some off time a little bit, Joey. Win as much as you can. Get in the
Honestly, my
buildings.
Colts
Is that kind of
needed
what's going on?
My Colts needed a break anyway. Like I needed to not ride them for about 3 weeks or so right here. Let their backs and bellies and minds heal up a little bit. Because we have been going quite a bit, and we've hauled them around quite a bit. So, honestly, I've never won our circuit, the Prairie Circuit. I've never won it. Won second a couple times, and then somebody else that doesn't win the circuit wins the average, and I never get to go to the Dodge Finals. So that was my goal. Once we did good 2 or 3 times there and had a bunch won in the circuit, I want to try to win it. And but we did just good enough at the few places that we got to go this winter that have a legitimate chance to make the tour finale no more than we've been rodeoing. So that was the kind of coming up here. They took some of them out, which kind of hosed me or us a little bit as a team. Like Lawton's not a tour rodeo this year. Sykeston's not a tour rodeo. Phillipsburg's not a tour rodeo. So it's like some places that we could have gained some points maybe right here close and not have to actually be going rodeoing. But
And they took a foot away from him at Casper.
so,
They're just getting him everywhere.
here,
Ain't they?
here I am trying to be civil. Trying to be civil with you guys. But,
Must have gave him his head back.
yeah.
Oh, I
guarantee you.
That's all
for
I ever heard.
For
Chuck.
sure.
Go that way with his head.
I got some of your videos. But no, so like I said, it's fun. I just want to go a little bit around, and if we can stir around and make the tour finale and fly up there and ride somebody's, if we can fly up there and get on and do it that way, then sweet. And if not, then sweet. Like it wasn't like we were rodeoing to do it anyway. I have to talk my partner off the ledge.
Well, it seems like too that because after the 4th of July, like your futurity season's kind of slowed down. So
Honestly, this year is more so than normal because, last year the Old West Futurity in Utah was towards the end of July. Well, this year it was middle of June. So, and if I normally don't go to the Royal Crown deal at Rock Springs so far, and we've been at it so long that my Colts need a break.
yeah,
And so I'm not going to go anywhere futurity-wise, maybe even until the solo futurity during Clay Lowe's open, during 1st of October even. So it's, unless they have they've got one of the Texas Best Clay Burnham's deals. I think they might have one of them in September there at Decatur. And if they do, then I'll go to it just to go put some runs on them and knock the dust off of them a little bit.
Well, your fraternity run, to me, looks like it fits pretty good where you can go to the jackpots. You can still go to the rodeos. You're staying sharp, it looks like to me.
I think you have to keep going and competing and to stay sharp enough with your rope to be able to adapt and catch on them things.
Well, because it looks like it's like both of them look like they do good for each other.
Well, just like that, like Buck said, we're not rodeoing. We're just messing around and going where we can and stuff like that. But
and winning.
We've won 30 grand in the deal there, and we've probably already won 10,000-ish or better amateur rodeoing. And jackpotting's been great, so I don't know how much we've won jackpotting, but quite a bit. So you're getting to supplement the income going and jackpotting and messing around rodeoing.
So to me, it looks like a lot of the horses you're fraternity on, you're still rodeoing as well. So what is the difference you feel like between when you're getting a horse ready for the fraternity? Is there a difference in how you're getting them ready for the rodeo?
No, sir, not really. Just, honestly, for me, it's all about one of them things being in my hand good and having good response to the cues that I give him and being able to read the cow. And if they're really good at the fraternity stuff, then they're probably good to jackpot on. And once then we know, okay, this one's a little tighter and he reads the cow, a little tighter through the turn and that kind of stuff. That's the one I can ride at the rodeos, So the little dun that I've got out here with us now, Newt, he's 7 this year. He just aged out, and he's just super easy, super forgiving. He works good at Casper, and he works good at Cheyenne. It's the same. He's just easy. So
yeah, I don't think it's Newt's fault that he got a leg here.
This is awesome.
It's a lot.
This is awesome. What about ropes? Do you feel like do you change ropes at all from fraternities to rodeos, or do you straight up same rope? What line of rope do you use? What lay of rope do you use?
Hard medium GT4 light is what I like the best.
And that's no matter what the steer is, big, strong, fresh.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. I honestly, for the younger horses at the fraternities and stuff, like the 4-year-olds, and even if we get a little easy jackpotting where the steers are small or something, or we get a little set of light heifers, I could use a medium, but primarily GT4 light, hard medium is what I like.
Now, what all rodeos are you guys, Bubba, going to hit while you guys are up here?
We're going to go we go to Sheridan tomorrow. Went to Casper yesterday.
Got a leg already?
Yeah, we've already talked about that. But he did make up for it at Cheyenne, which as fast as he threw, I thought, gosh dang, what were you doing? And he got him.
Got him.
Then we go to Estes Park Thursday on our way home. Then we're going to Seymour Saturday morning and Blue Ridge Saturday night to some amateurs.
Now, are you guys not staying out here to go to Salinas or anything like that?
No, sir.
I figured that black head horse you guys would be
Stop it, Chuck.
You'd think.
sneaking over there. Oh, you let Joseph enter?
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense.
Hey, so in my defense, we had
the amount of times we had hey, Chuck, have you thought about going to these circuit rodeos over here? I'm like, 10 hours the wrong way? No.
Trevor went with me. It's fine.
Hey, something? Joseph's $1 million fraternity rider, so he's got money. He ain't worried about
yeah. So
Salinas can pay $10,000. We don't need to go there.
It's only a head horse race.
Not enough.
Hey, how about Salinas?
I'd rather go to Sydney, Nebraska.
I believe it. Hey, Salinas, they said this year that's the only rodeo that week.
That would
in the
be
team
so
rope.
fun.
That is it.
Good eating. That fits.
People are going to go to jail. That's way too much downtime for PRCA Cowboys to just sit in one spot.
Somebody better rein Roy in.
Scrapper. Scrapper's going to go. There's going to be fighting and people going to jail, or probably both.
He's going to hate me.
And it's probably going to be Scrapper. I can't remember the last time it was that was just the only rodeo that anyone could go to. That was what used to be fun. The fact that everyone kind of got together, but like that.
You got to hang out a week.
Get a few days off.
No one's going to be used to that.
Oh,
that something bad's going to happen, I feel like.
That's what I always loved Nampa. Because once you got there, good shade trees to park under, and you get to hang out for at least like 3 days, where that was always nice.
Selena's thing, it just reminds me of that quote that I heard one time. It says, if you can't look back at your younger self and realize that you were an idiot, you're probably still an idiot.
You're probably still an idiot. Yeah.
Like what I think of now, Selena's really just, I think about that as the fact that there's going to be a lot of idiot stuff going on there at Selena's.
Yes. If you could just dance around the outside of the circle and watch the stupidity.
Oh, I mean, you got beautiful weather. You got the beach.
Fun.
You got way too many things for people to get in trouble doing.
Seafood.
Yeah. What about, have you seen some of the rodeos adding some money this summer? You seen Hermiston?
That's wild, ain't it?
What?
50,000.
What? I know they come up with some whiskey a while ago. They must be selling the hell out of it.
It can't be those blankets. There's no way. It's got to be the whiskey.
I mean, the Farm City Rodeo is...
Sorry, that's Pendleton.
Pendleton's got
Pendleton.
Pendleton blankets, but I mean, Hermiston's not far from it. But they said once Hermiston stepped up, then Pendleton added it.
In that shoot 8 whiskey a couple times, Chuck. How was it?
That was a bad summer. I think Logan and I won the rodeo, and they handed me that right in the middle of the arena. They give us the mic and tell us about our run.
Give it to Medlin.
And I was just peeling the wrapper off. Like it was a long summer.
I remember that when Chad Rowe and I won the perf that one night. And
the year before that.
They handed us the shoot 8 whiskey or whatever, and you took mine right away. You're back over here pulling on this shoot 8 whiskey jug. I was laughing.
Yeah, that's a cool rodeo, but man, that's going to make it huge. That is going to be a huge rodeo. That's pretty cool. And I heard Pendleton added a bunch too right after that. Not that that's probably going to be anything down your alley.
Yeah, you know what?
The amount, Bubba, I had to talk him into going to Pendleton.
Not a huge Pendleton.
Yeah.
You couldn't have shoved a grease pea up his ass when he freaking come down that hill.
I just don't have anything to ride that's set up for grass.
When you roped, I seen it. Then I seen why. Because when everything worked on it, way too much sliding.
Oh, man.
My front end stuff just bounced around that freaking grass.
That's what I was thinking. I go rope with Joseph all the time. He's got shit bounces on the front end all everywhere.
Hey, the one thing that did good there was Chad Rowe. We get there for the short round, and we need to win, bad. And this steer that we got, I remember watching him go twice where they would catch him at the end of the lane, and he would haul ass off to the left with his head between his knees. It's like, well, I got to looking down that list, and then I remembered this one dude that he took off down the deal, and his horse, when he picked him up, he spun around. So it let him just drool off to the right, which is uncharted territory. Everybody knows that you don't go over there. But
grass is green.
Unless you're over Joseph.
But he loped. Lost with his head up. And I told Chad Rowe, I'm like, hey, look, I'm going to let him go right. He said, oh, man, you ain't going to love that. I said, I know, man, but he's going to lope if I do. Oh, I remember that one guy. Oh, yeah, that's him. So I did it. And when I'm telling you, I thought I wiped out.
Slick.
When I set it down there, it was a bay that I sold at Rancho Rio that come from Miles and Daisy Baker. And I called him Capone. But anyway, you talk about puckered all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's a hard place for an ass draggy horse.
It is. But it's good fun, though. If I can see why everybody's so pumped about it. I mean, not only the fact that they have the Pendleton room, but the rodeo itself is cool.
It is historic, for sure.
It's the Letterbuck room, Joseph.
The Letterbuck room. What? I've never been in there.
Oh,
they
yeah.
say that they mash your hat, and that ain't happening.
Hey,
I thought I could have swore I seen you there a few years ago.
If a guy doesn't even want to go in the Letterbuck room, just sitting outside when that closes at 6 o'clock and just people watch, it's worth a ticket.
Oh, yeah. The amount of people that they said, somebody told me there's more people that get punched when they come out than there is while they're in there.
Well, you got to think at Pendleton time, you're either one or two emotions.
Yeah.
You're either your ears toast.
Yeah.
Or you're on the chopping block. Because the guys that haven't won, they don't want to risk their horses, so they're gone.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one or the other. And so then you add that Pendleton and emotions emotions get they get high.
2018 and 19, I can remember rolling down the window and waving on my way by from Puyallup back to my house. And
You weren't waving. There was one finger up.
Yeah.
Because when I think you roped a leg on the first one, if I remember right, when we roped. I can't remember.
There were so many of those.
I'm like Buck Campbell. I don't let the truth affect a good story.
No.
But when we come back with a runner on our second one, we come back with the runningest steer in the damn herd. And I tried to get a start, and I got him, and I'm trying to soften this sucker up, and I can hear Joey in the back going, "Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit!" And I see why, because that horse was getting his ass and about falling each time.
Hey, when I set it down,
He was
there,
ice road truckering that sucker all the way around the
when
corner.
I set it down there, all I could see was that picture they put in a spin to win back in the day
Champ.
of the champ
Mhm.
wiping out, and Chip damn near wiped out. And I'm just honest, I was just so thankful when I got undoubtedly I can get out of this.
Couldn't have been a worse steer to have.
Not for my anxiety. But,
I can see why now. After that, I was like, all right, I get it. That was funny. What? So you guys gonna go back home, skip Salinas because it's not your deal, and then what after that? Dodge City, some stuff like that.
yeah, man, we're gonna come back up here and go. We got to go the 20th on Sunday, the 20th, and run our second one at Cheyenne. So I think I'm gonna put us down.
No Ogden, Spanish Fork, none of those good ones either.
No, too far over there.
I understand.
I think I'm just gonna go like to Sidney, Nebraska, Burwell. You didn't go to Burwell with me that year. With,
That was a
we had
that
to
was
go
a
to Helena or some shit like that.
that was a big deal. That was a big deal to go there. And then during COVID, I finally got to go to it. That was a fun rodeo.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Well, they rode muleys.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
It was fun.
I wonder if I
okay,
rode the
Joey.
muleys there this year.
No, Jigger said they lost that right last year.
They did.
Yeah. So I don't know what we're going to rip this time.
So then Dodge City, and then you're going to come up Caldwell, maybe Hermiston, some stuff like that.
Stop it. No.
No. Okay.
No, honestly, by the time we get through July, about August, time we get done with like Dodge City Week and the grip and stuff like that, I need to go back to work a little bit, start getting after my 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
Spend some time, hot summertime with some of those 4-year-olds and stuff. So
we had a lot of questions on Facebook. I like posting this stuff. Cowboys, this is brought to you by Cowboy Steel, just kind of the fan questions. And one of the ones that had probably the most replies on it was, will you rodeo to make sure he gets to another back number again? Could you take his 2017 NFR partner and have an arm wrestling match? Or did Gladewater incident ever happen in 2017?
stop.
That was probably my
That was probably
favorite.
Chelsea.
Oh, that was Hunter Snow.
Hunter Snow. Where he needs kicked in the nuts. If he's got pals, so one of his pals needs to kick him in the nuts.
Wonder if that's Cody and Hunter's boy.
Hey, speaking of putter throws,
Oh man, that was awesome.
Where was it at?
yesterday. Oh, it was in Cheyenne yesterday. So glad you brought that up.
let's hear about the putter throws out here. They're still happening.
Yesterday, the snowmobile gets him a pretty good go. And Billy stepped yesterday a little bit, if I remember that right. He normally don't, but he did right there. Kind of wrinkled the steer a little bit. Hunter gets him a leg. He was distraught about it. So he putter throws and flicks it. And snowmobile is almost like it was like he watched Hunter do it and made it about 2 strides, and then he did it. Like flicked his rope and tried to hit Hunter with it or back towards the steer. I don't know. It was just funny. I loved it. I remember I got you one time at Spanish Fork.
Creased my hat.
I did. I did. I like everybody was like, oh man, did you mean to try? Yes. Definitely. Remember my horse kicked a shoe off in the trailer that morning on the way over to the rodeo and you wouldn't fix it. And I told you I wasn't going to ride him if he didn't fix it.
Gosh dang it, that horse. That
was Chip.
He was special. The Tucson time when he just, oh my gosh. Joe, you need to get your horse.
I loved it. He was chewing on your hat. Actually made the shape better.
So a lot of guys are always asking if you're going to try to make the NFR again.
And I'd love to eventually. I'd love to have a back number with Buck. I'd love to run some steers in there with him just because
Are you going to cut him or are you going to
You'd have to go a year to do it.
Well, let's not enter Salinas.
Yeah.
Or what'd you say? Hermiston had. Stop it.
So, for the people that don't know, when Buck and I, we were kids, I think Buck was 14 and I was 15 when we won. We have an old rodeo in our state called the Velma Picnic, and it used to be
Huge.
really big. I mean, it would get 150 to 200 teams big. And Buck and I won it that year when we were young, and we're still the youngest team to ever win the rodeo. So that we've been together a long, long time. So to get to run if I could run 10 steers in that building with him, that'd be really cool for me.
So what's the game plan you feel like to do that? Because it's got to be pretty hard with the business you have with the fraternities, correct?
It is, man. It is. And I kind of cheat Buck lots of times on where we can and where we can't go because of my job and stuff. So what I ideally is if, just like this, if we could just fiddle around and get in Puyallup and then you make the Final Four at Puyallup by chance because I'm lucky and you get to go
Pendleton
to the Governor's Cup. Stop it. You get to go to the Governor's Cup.
Keep driving by that one too.
And then, I'm driving right by you. So if you just messed around and got in Houston and San Antonio and Fort Worth, we're
Give
not
yourself
doing
a chance.
that much
Yeah.
right through there. So a guy could have a chance of getting a lot of money won early. And then it's easy for me, like this month, like when I'm going to take off a little bit and give my Colts a break. You just take off over the 4th of July and get after it, try to get it done. You know what I mean? It can't be priority number one because I've got customers and people depending on me to do what I'm supposed to do. Like I said, I cheat Buck some, but ain't nothing I can do about it.
Ain't nothing ever changed.
I'm so glad you give him headphones.
Well, he was here. You can't not.
Hey, I didn't ask.
I should have left him. I should have left him at the trailer. I really should.
What? How many fraternity horses are you competing on?
Right now,
And which ones are they?
so my 5-6-year-old set, I've got New One Time Blues, which is owned by Gucci Equine. I've got Copperton, which has recently been purchased by X Performance Horses, which is J.D. McGuire and Hunter Cook. I've got his name's One Special Night, that's owned by Chris Young. Gucci Man owns him. We've won quite a bit on him too. He's the only 5-year-old I got. He's a cool sucker. And then I've got a Stevie Ray Vaughan. His name is Hooray. He's Stevie Ray Vaughan out of $1 Million Baby. And Mr. Darren and Tara Johnson, the people that own Stunner, the 4-year-old that I've been winning pretty good on lately, they own him also. And I've won, a little bit on him, like I won the Futurity at Ardmore on him and stuff like that. So everything in my 5-6-year-old crowd, like the Betty's a Cat that I own, that he's got Futurity earnings on both ends. And I rode him at the winter rodeos this winter while the Governor was down. And he's 6 years old as well. But I've just been helping on him, and we ain't showed him much just because I own him and ain't no sense. But my 4-year-old plan is really, really looking good right now. I really like him. Like I've got that Stunner, and I've got a Sandman.
And Stunner, was that the one that you won the
Old West deal on, and the deal last week at Fort Worth? Yes, sir. I think Mr.
Which is that the same one you won the Futurity finals on in October?
No.
Which one was that one?
That's Gucci Man's little horse, the One Special Night. He's a Gunner Special Night.
That breeding's taken. That took some highlight reels right there last year at the Futurity finals there in October.
He's smiling like a puppy with 2 fingers, man.
Man, those suckers looked the part when they did it on the head and the heeling, correct? As 4-year-olds.
They've done so good in the reining, and now that, we've caught on to them and they're doing awesome in the roping, that horse has still got good semen and that kind of stuff. So it looks good for Mr. Tom for the breeding program and that stuff. And he's good for us because of it. When he gets one he thinks that'll work for us, Miles is probably still his first call because Miles got started over there before me, which is cool. But if Miles has got too much stuff going on right then, or Miles will even call me and tell me, hey, I got too many right now for this, but Mr. Tom called me about this horse. So it works out good. Being able to have good relationship with those other guys, it works out good. But my 4-year-olds that stunner's good. And then I've got a Sandman that belongs to Roper, Mr. Mike and Roper Goodson. He's he's had a little bit of bad luck. I won second on him out there at Utah at the Old West deal, and I won the one at Oklahoma City on him, the 4-year-old deal, 1 second at the Gold Buckle deal there in Ardmore. But I dribbled the ball off my foot a couple times. I should have been high callback this last week at Fort Worth on him, and I healed and lost the third one. Just silly stuff. I think I won the second round on him there. So I've got a little yellow. That's a Magnum Chick Dream that Gucci Equine owns as well. And I think as of this last week, Fort Worth, I think I've won just almost 30,000 on him as well. So I'm looking forward to those.
Yeah.
As 5 and 6.
What? How many fraternities you got before the one in October? Not many, as there come fall. Is it kind of the Gold Buckles a little bit?
Gold Buckles at the end this time. So they got the 1st of October. We got the Solo Select Futurity, and it's only for 4-year-olds. And then the end of October is the Rope Horse Futurity, and it's going to be in Amarillo this year. Had to move because they were working on the old Will Rogers there. And
so the American Rope Horse Futurity is going to be in Amarillo.
Amarillo, yeah.
I'll be dang.
Yep. And they evidently, Jaybird said that, man, they're basically rolling the red carpet out for us over there. They're pumped that we're coming and going to accommodate the whole deal. So it's supposed to be good. And then like 2 days or something after that is the World Show for the ones that are qualified, the AQHA World Show. And then I guess like right at the very end of us getting done there, we've got to go right to Abilene to the Gold Buckle, to the last one of theirs of the year, Driggers and them's deal. And so it's there's a lot right there at the end of the year.
Now, when you're
potting your roping,
when you're looking at your next futurity horse, you're talking about some of the 3-year-olds. Are these yours? Are these customers? Is there a certain breeding you're looking at where you're trying to steer with what you're wanting to get on that is going to work for you?
Well, we've all got bloodlines that we like. Right now the Gunner Special Knights are popping, and I've got 2 3-year-olds. Mr. Darren and Mr. Tara Johnson, they own one that we bought the same time as the one that Mr. Chad Richard owns now that I took to the sale. And so I've got 2 of those Gunner Special Knight 3-year-olds.
I like them. What do you like so much about them?
Man, they're just so good-minded.
The mind looks great.
They're good-minded. They're good-bodied. They're heavy-bodied kind of horses.
Their ability looks good as well, but I love the way their mind
They can all stop. And the funny part about it is they're all messing around so much, like at home, like to practice on them or to school on them or any of that stuff. They're messing around. They're playing. Like they're never taking anything serious. So when you get onto them, they take a joke good. They don't hold a grudge against you for schooling on them. So I think that's a big thing in the young horse deal.
When you're looking at them, is there certain techniques you're looking at or visuals you're looking at that is going to fit your stop, that's going to show that that is going to score?
Man, for heel horses, I'd love for them to be, deep through the body, deep through the heart girth, stuff like that. Low hocked is better for me. They can stay a hold to the ground a little better. If they were just any underslung behind, I'm all about that. When I was a kid, where I grew up, Mr. Doug Carpenter, he owned a place that was about 6 or 8 miles from where I grew up, my old hometown, and he was super sharp about a horse, man, super sharp. And I remember when I was a kid, he told me there was a horse walking away from us at a sale over there, and it was waddling, like it swayed back and forth behind when it He said, I've never seen a horse that moved like that behind, that waddles, that couldn't stop. So for me, I'm always a little bit looking for that. You know, one of them horses that kind of waddle when they walk behind, they can all stop. They can't all run. So you're just, but for what I do, I need the butt drag and the strong to the ground more than I do speed.
And your training, how do you keep them horses where they stay up under their hocks so much? I know some of it, like you say, that's what you're looking for. But when you're training it, how are you able to keep them horses in their stops so good and keep their butt up under their hocks so well?
It's pretty hard on roping steers, really. And I won't go into the whole deal right here, but it's man, we got to dally.
Yeah.
Got to dally and teach them in that.
Teaches them to learn how to take that.
They've got to
that
be
jerk
able to
a little
get
bit
up under there and stay a hold of the rope and stay with their butt down and their pole up to be able to stay straight and not get jerked off kilter. It's obviously a pet peeve of mine. When I put it on the saddle horn, I don't want that horse moving anymore at all. Forwards, backwards. I don't want one to back up. And that was the hardest, like the first year rodeoing when I rode with you. And I didn't know nothing about the NFR. So when we got close, I called Colin, said, hey, man, out of my horses, what do I ride out there? You know, you know what's up out there, obviously. And he said, man, which one of them can you teach to back up? So
that arena's so small.
I could street. If I pulled on him enough, he would
have some suck.
He would take a step back.
Yeah.
And Chip, if you could, basically throw an anvil out behind him or hook it onto a train and he wasn't backing up. You didn't TG, he used to say that. He said, man, he said, you got that on them horses good. And he said, because no matter what you do to this one, he's not backing up. And I don't want it. You know, I don't want them horses going forward, backwards, side to side. Whenever they hit the bottom of their stop and it hits the saddle horn, I want that to be end of movement.
Bubba, you said you might be looking into doing some fraternities maybe a little bit.
Yeah, maybe in the next couple of years. I got a couple 3-year-old fillies I raised that are, I got a Streak of Fling filly I really like and a Dash to Fame filly that I have with a friend of mine in Canada. We're partners on her, and they're both half sisters out of the same mare. And
looks like that would fit your training program well, as good as the horses I've seen.
Phobia of helping, I could make him a lot of money.
Yeah, you know how it is, Chuck. You give their head back.
I know exactly how it is. What has been some of the breeding that you've looked at that you look like that to you that you're like, man, I'd like to try that? Has there been anything that really popped out to you a little bit?
I really like these winners versions. Look good that everybody, there's a bunch of guys heading on them. Looks like to me the Richards have got it going on, the way they got their program going.
Because they've got some run mixed with some cow, correct?
Yeah. And I really like that young gray head horse that Driggers rides, Uber, that Cole Davis and them raised. I like them colts out of that stud of his. They've seemed pretty good. Really anything running bred, I'm into that, like barrel horses and stuff like that. That's if you ain't got speed, you ain't got much.
Miles has got that First Prize Diver mare.
Oh, I love those.
Of their barn name's Nala. I think her name's Relentless PYC.
She killed it at a 4-year-old.
Not that I'm supposed to chime in all that much about head horses, but she looks like I'd like to ride some of those to head on.
That was one of the best horses. When Larry Rice owned that First Prize Diver, I rode him, and he was one of my favorite head horses ever. Like if I could compare one to my black horse that I've rode, he'd never been anywhere or nothing, but he was, God, he could run out from underneath you and halfway down the arena. Like the speed was just endless. Like I never got to the bottom of it. That's a nice horse. And his colts are doing good too.
Yeah, that's what I've been a fan of with this fraternity is the fact that now they're actually breeding 4 head horses.
Yep.
Because I've always either gotten a barrel horse, nasty, a cutter reject or a reiner reject or something that got too big in the cow horse, something like that, where now you see people trying to breed for them, and you're seeing the elevation now, I think, of head horses has been phenomenal. So it's cool to see now that people are actually breeding for the head horses.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking next year. Maybe my 2 fillies that I got that are a Streak of Fling and a and a Dash to Fame, I'm thinking about maybe getting me an embryo out of each one of those to like the goodbye lane, because if, the barrel racers love them and they're obviously pretty good head horses too.
Sweet one that Mr. Bob Moat, Reliance Ranch's got, the one that Ren rode the other day at the 4-year-old deal up there at the Old West. That's a cool horse.
The Reliant horses are looking good too.
That bay stud, he's cool. He's by the goodbye lane.
Yeah, that's going to be cool to see what now is producing now on that head side. So that's what's always kind of fun to see what everyone's testing out to see what works. And
it looks like the run in cow cross is doing pretty good too. I mean, obviously that
got
one
the speed, got the mind.
1.7 million. There, somebody's liking that. I think it's a good idea. Like those Stevie Ray Vaughans. I've seen Joseph ride a few of them that have looked really, really nice.
Pretty good kind of horses.
Right on. Well, you guys kicked their ass out here.
Well,
the short time I guess you guys were out here, but it off to a good start over there at the Daddy. Go ahead and pull you a win off over there. That'd be sweet.
Boy, I'd like to keep running steers like that one yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nice one.
Boy,
now you guys staying over there, Bambies?
So we would probably go back to Rick and Jimmy Joe Monteras when we get done tomorrow. I don't know that for sure. We got our room through Thursday morning over here. So, but then when we come back up, I told Mr. Jimmy Joe that I would come stay and hang out and rope and stuff. And her and Mr. Rick, pretty good folks, man. I got to see Bam yesterday, though. I haven't seen Jeff Robb, but I got to see Bam yesterday at Cheyenne.
I got to go see Rick and Jimmy Joe the other day, and I went over to the house, and we was roping for a little bit, and, Jimmy Joe just hurt her hand, and, she was just, the amount of steers that she was just wanting to heal, you could tell was wearing on her. But maybe some of the nicest people to be able to let that many people come stay at that place is such a cool spot to stay.
The one thing that I do miss about rodeoing is the people that they just let us, but they want you to come and stay and bombard their place and hang out as long as you want and rope and use their pins and plug in, and you try to pay them and they're offended when you try to pay them because they're just sweet people and they want to help out and they want us to come and hang out with them. So those are the people I miss seeing, like Scott and Miss Joe Rep. It's just great.
Up there in Ellensburg.
Great folks,
awesome people,
man.
huh?
Yeah, I miss getting to last couple of years that I pulled in up there. Miss Joe, I love her, pumpkin bread. In the last couple of years you pull in up there before I even get my stuff unloaded and my trailer plugged into the barn and all that stuff, Miss Joe, she's out there. She's got us a cold beer and some pumpkin bread, man. You know what I mean?
That's why I'm having a hard time, because I've talked to Scott about once or twice a week, and he wants me to come to the Northwest. So that's one reason I'm kind of contemplating going up there. And
man, the rodeos look good.
Yeah.
Sound of a gun, they look good. Well, it'd be fun if you guys get to go hang out with Bambi. I'm sure there won't be too many stories you guys will be talking about.
Oh, no. We probably won't bring up your tomato. That was awesome.
Can't express to you how cold that day was.
Oh, I love that. That's great. It's almost like she sculpted that tomato or something. I love that. Oh, look at Charlie.
It was cold. It was a cold day.
We all laughed.
She can come up with some good ones, huh?
Oh, she's a shithead.
Gosh dang it.
I love her. She's a shithead.
Yeah. You talk about one of the most selfless people out here in this industry. This helps so many people get to the finals and get from one place to the other, and being able to just open up their place to have people come stay. It's one of those things too that, a lot of people don't realize out here rodeoing is, also just the people that help you out throughout the year, because practicing is so limited. So to be able to have those people, man, that let you just come hang out and man, they're a big part of the team in a way.
Oh man, for sure, man.
Well, right on. Well, it was good seeing you guys.
Yes, sir.
Rooting for you guys.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate you coming on. Congrats on the $1 million, man. Badass. Proud of you. Bubba, sticking on them and hold their heads.
I'll try.
All right. See you, everybody. Ropers, are you ready to step up your game? My online course, The Basics of Roping, is built for beginners, but packed with tools to help ropers of all levels sharpen their skills. With over 2 hours of instruction, frame-by-frame swing breakdowns, when to turn your hand over to keep your loop open, when and where to let go of your rope so you can get the horns in the middle of that loop, over 15 dummy drills to simulate real-life runs, you'll have everything you need to improve. Go to charlycrawford.training and follow the link under the course tab to get started today.